Come my Jarls, Valhalla is calling, but we kinda can't go there yet. We're not truly worthy of it at this moment. We need to build bases and slay mythical beasts until we can ascend to feast next to Odin in this Viking survival epic called Valheim. Welcome back to Drunky Indie, everybody. My name is Drunky, and this is our weekly indie review, Buy or Skip. Our goal here on Buy or Skip is that by the end of this review, you will have my opinion on enough information to know if you should buy or skip any given game. If you enjoyed this review and you find it helpful while you're watching us, let us know down in the comment section below. And if you're new here to Drunk Indie, don't forget to subscribe and become part of our community. Alright, this is Valheim, and here's my review. Released February 2nd, 2021, Valheim is a procedurally generated survival game based on Norse mythology. Think Minecraft with less blocks and more horned helmets and axes. It was released by the developer Iron Gate AB and published by Coffee Stain Publishing. You can find it in its early access on Steam for $19.99. Let's begin our first category, story. If you're new around here to Drunk Indie, you'll find out that I'm a big fan of the small setup story inside of these video games. Just tiny little nods and hints to the players that let you dive in and suspend your disbelief while you're playing and kind of create your own story along the way. Valheim achieves this idea by having Valkyries dump you off into the realm of Valheim, the 10th North world, or I guess they're dumping your soul off, and you're on this sole mission of cleaning up and killing Odin's rivals. Not much is known about these rivals, but they must be slayed. Valheim must be settled again, and you're the Viking to do it. Chef's kiss. Moving on, let's talk graphics. If you were to look at a screenshot of this game in an article discussing how this game has over 3 million units sold, you might be a little bit perplexed. In truth, this game's graphics kind of feel massively outdated, something you would find on an old PS3 game maybe, but the screenshots alone will not do this game justice. When in motion, this game can kind of be stunning. Similar to, say, Minecraft, Valheim looks simple and low poly, and that really serves the game performance more than anything else. But in motion, Valheim can really be something that will stop you dead in your chair. Its lighting and its weather effects, along with the charming colors of your builds, everything combines to make this experience that is really unique to itself, and it's memorable, and downright will make you proud of what you built. I can't count the amount of screenshots I've sent to people with the sunrise coming up over my hut in the distance. It's gorgeous. Additionally, the designs of the monsters in this game are a real standout, especially the bosses. Oh, sorry, the rivals of Odin. Their feels mythical and they kind of feel massive at times. They're just huge. I was blown away specifically by the Elder design. I can't wait to see him again. His attack was just kind of mind-blowing how cool it looked in this kind of third-person perspective. While Valheim might not be technically bringing Thor's thunder when it comes to the crispness of its graphics or the high quality nature of its textures, its style into itself is just so absolutely gorgeous, and its lighting just makes this lush vistas, and you have to see this game in motion. You have to see video of this. Screenshots are not going to do it justice alone. Up next, gameplay. Right from the top of this category, I want you guys to understand something about Valheim if you start to play it. Clear your calendars. Any other games you thought about picking up, that movie your buddy wanted you to come over and watch with them, cancel it. Cancel it all. When you start playing Valheim, two things are made abundantly clear and very fast from the get-go. This game has a lot of things to spend your time on, and you will be completely addicted to it while you're doing these things. Admittedly, I'm not that deep into the game yet. I've had to move my town and then kind of start over from scratch when I joined a dedicated server, but the parts that I am into are so well done that I'm constantly wanting to play this game. You start the game picking up branches and stone to create weapons and tools to survive and build with, right? That's fairly standard survival game touches. But where this game begins to separate itself truly is in its building system. Unlike other survival games where you can just place builds mindlessly, Valheim contains this structure support engine that has to be played seriously. When you start placing builds down, you need to make sure that those builds are supported with walls and beams, and because if you go too far out, you will cause them to break off like a sad little Kit Kat bar, right? This is challenging, but when it all comes together, you can see the real beauty of your home's aesthetic as it begins to marry itself with function and support. It's really, really cool. On the other side of the Valheim coin, you will have a survival and boss killing aspect of the game that lends itself to the real natural flow of the game's progression. Killing your first boss will give you the right tools and the materials to begin to progress further into the game that you were kind of stuck at before, and as you do that, you discover more recipes. This stick and carrot mechanic repeats itself, and in large part is really what's had me addicted to this game all into itself, right? Like this part alone One of the things I like most about Valheim is just how accessible its gameplay is. While other survival games tend to be a little bit more brutal in how much resources you can collect or refund from destroying a build, Valheim is very generous with its food, its resources, and its building refunds. This allows the game to kind of open up a little bit and be more enjoyable creatively than other survival games I've been playing lately. And it's completely welcome. I want to explore this world, I want to live in it, and I want to explore what kind of builds I can make, and I don't want to time sink myself into having to farm more trees for a wall that I accidentally placed in somewhere I didn't really want it to land. Whether soloing or playing with friends, the gameplay in Valheim is it. It's believe the hype, believe it. Up next, let's hear about sound. Sorry, that pun was honestly coming eventually to the channel. I've never built a log cabin in my life or laid thatch down on the roof in a village, but I like to think that if I had, I would have a really good, well-rounded opinion on the sounds of Valheim as they relate to real life. But this is a fantasy world of Norse creation, and I'm the owner of this YouTube channel, and I'm just going to think that this is how it would sound because I love it so much. There is something that is so satisfying about the thumps and the bumps inside of this game. Every tree chop, every pickaxe swing, every time your sword clanks on a monster, the spear chucks, it all hits my eardrums in the buttery places. Its soundtrack is a whimsical melody that I will forever have in my head when I'm walking in nature. If that ever happens again, there's like a 50-50 shot when you're a gamer. But seriously, I love all the music in this game. From the carefree loftiness of the meadows to the more serious and sometimes creepy tones that resonate as you delve deeper into, well, the delves and the forest. It's filled with untold creatures and the music just represents it completely. The sound of Valheim is unassuming at first, but it's a perfect companion for the hours that you will spend inside of this game. Finally, replayability. I mentioned earlier in this review that I had to move my first base and then I had to restart from scratch as I got into a more dedicated server. So essentially I'm on the third build of my Jarldom, I think we call it. At this point I'm ready to progress to the next part of the game for sure, but the build system has allowed me to try out different styles of buildings and they're all unique and have creative aspects that the previous ones just didn't have. My only complaint would be the speed of getting to the first boss in this game. It's kind of slow going at the start, and running down deers is a bit too much of a hassle for me. I wish this part was a little bit quicker. Outside of that, the replayability in this game is one of the craziest experiences you will have. Being procedurally generated, every new world you start can have a different seed, which comes with its own unique layouts, its own iconic scenes to look at. No world is the same, and I'm in love with the system. It's Minecraft, but instead of deep diving into the worlds, you're exploring the world for bosses to find. One of my favorite aspects of the game with the replayability has is the option to have a persistent character. Your main character can be on your home world, and then when you log out and you log into a buddy's world, you can take that character with you with all his attributes, all his skills he's learned, and his backpack that he has inside of it. This makes setting up new worlds faster, and it's also kind of nice when there's new people playing. It makes the beginning of the game a bit more of a breeze for them so they can kind of get on boarded. If they're not real survival game fans at first, it bridges that gap, right? But you can also go full punishment and just start a brand new character for each new world they begin. It's up to you. It's a really great system that I think should be carried on into more games. Valheim is already endlessly repeatable. It's an early access title and the developer is promising more, and its scale is already pretty mind-blowing. I can't wait to see what they come. Big replayability, you're going to get your money's worth and more. Buy or skip Valheim. There's always times in gaming where it feels like a game comes out of nowhere and it captures the entire psyche of the gaming community. Everyone has their friends jumping on it, and then those friends grab other friends, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, everyone's playing it and there's 3 million copies sold of a game that's just on Steam. That's it. Valheim is one of those games. It's simple and it's deep, it's charming but it's brutal, and it'll have you hooked for hours on end. Valheim is an absolute buy. That's going to do it for our review of Valheim. I hope it helped you make a decision on whether or not you should be picking up the game or not. Again, it is only on Steam if you're looking for it. Thanks for checking out Drunky Indie this week. If you're new here, make sure you leave a subscription, like this video, and leave a comment down below on what you think about Valheim or this review. We'll see you guys next week for the next Buy or Skip. Bye, everybody.